great. I just walked into Matrix Revolutions, or maybe Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Don't touch that.
Oh, Doomsvince. You know, you do a fair approximation of my wife if she was a supervillain.
I saw you read ahead, Captain Logan. You know what's coming now, so what's the point? Do you really think you can make it through another 297 days of Spawn Year? What makes you think that you can fare any better than Spawn? Just give up now. Save yourself the embarrassment. You know what they say. People in hell want Mountain Dew.
Clever. You really think you've worn me down enough that I'm gonna drink that? I see this whole thing as like a vacation. It's kind of nice just to get out and stretch my legs.
That's okay. We've got plenty of time. I'll just set this right here in case you change your mind.
Well, I'm just gonna go off over here and read this comic book.
Fine. I am Doomsvince, and this is day 69 of Spawn Year.
Doomsvince is pulling out all the stops now, and he's hit a new low, coming to me in the guise of my wife. He's continuing to try to convince me to quit now, and while I'm refusing to let his parlor tricks get to me, he's right about one thing. I fell for his latest trick. He didn't really think I was going to become so defeated in the open grave I would just give up and let him bury me there. It was all about tricking me into reading a key issue that would show me just what kind of person Al Simmons will become over the course of his history. As I endure this torture alone, Spawn, as frustrating as he can be, is the closest thing I have to a kindred spirit. And now that I've seen his future, I feel truly alone. I can't take comfort that I'm reading about this incredibly flawed but possibly redeemable character anymore, that he can beat his hell, and so can I. Dear reader, I will spare you my newfound knowledge in the hopes that you might be able to muster a little optimism about my future here. 297 days feels like a lot longer than it did yesterday. How could I have been so monumentally stupid? As if just because I wasn't in the graveyard anymore, Doomsvince couldn't still see everything I was doing, just as Malbolgia can always see Spawn, except that one time in the Angela mini for some reason. I'm constantly looking for some leg up against Doomsvince. I must remember that he is omnipotent and omniscient in this place, and there is no such thing. The only weapon I have is determination, and so I continue with my reviews. Besides the irritating parallel to my current situation, I actually really like this issue and the direction McFarlane has chosen to take things from Spawn's journey into hell that ended last issue. He had already been through the third level, and when he evaporated, I misinterpreted what was going on, fully expecting an easy way out. I thought Spawn had teleported himself and that we'd get some half-baked explanation about his already returning back to Earth this issue. But here we find Al in a blank white void, the fourth level of hell, a blank slate that comes alive with the true evil desire that sent Spawn there originally, his love of killing. The level's guardian, who I can only describe as the Oogie Boogie Man, tries to convince Al to give himself willingly to hell, just as Doomsvince has tried to convince me to give in. He says Al belongs there, and if he will only accept what he truly is, he can be at peace. Issue 50 was all about acceptance. It was about Al sobering up and accepting that Wanda has had to move on, and he must too. And finally allowing himself to do that, he went back to hell for her. But what hell itself wants from Al is a different sort of acceptance, to give in and believe that he was always evil, and to let that side of him win out. Doomsvince knows I love my wife, but he wants me to think I love caffeine and work more. Al's love for killing and his love for Wanda are at odds. They're incompatible, according to this demon. And he says that Al ultimately being done in by his love for killing is proof that that's the love that won out. And that's what hell needs. Your special kind of love is very rare indeed, the demon says. I love the imagery here. The demon is made up of the skin he sheds from his victims to show them their true natures. But the way I read this, his true self is hidden under all that stolen skin, signifying that we shouldn't take anything he says at face value. There is truth to what he says, but it's manipulated truth. Spawn just proved his love for his wife is greater than his love for killing when he saved Terry for her, rather than letting him die, which is what he would rather have done. I also like the idea that this is the level where the Spawn costumes are grown. Worthy souls are stripped of their self-image and reclothed once they fully embrace their purely evil, as this demon sees it, true selves. Like so many of these comics, it's almost all talk, and while wordy, there are a lot of ideas about self-perception and the complexities of the human soul for me to sink my teeth into. I'm even more okay now with the premise that a man who loves his wife that much is also a stone-cold assassin and the best hell can find, because that's really explored here. The idea isn't that Al was a cold, heartless killer, but a passionate one, implying that a passion for life and a passion for destroying life may not be so far removed, which is both fascinating and disturbing. And to really drive that point home, Spawn's heart is once again ripped out, echoing Violator from his and Spawn's first confrontation. He doesn't need it, which suggests that in actuality, it's the single most important thing for him, figuratively speaking. Malebolgia has to render Spawn emotionless before he can really use him, and that contradicts everything the demon from level 4 claimed. Al's true self is more complicated than killer or lover, just as is true of us all. Yeah, I know, I just put Al and complicated in the same sentence. I wish this issue was all just Spawn's journey, though. It's interrupted by Sam and Twitch talking more about the mysterious informant that knows about who Banks was working for, and they're getting a 55 Chevy. There's no way Sam saved up enough money for that and opening a private agency on a cop's salary. And also Terry refusing to be a guinea pig for specialists trying to find out how he miraculously survived his cancer. But while intrusive, even this stuff is more lively and less filler than usual. I love it when Terry asks, do all specialists have to be old, bald, and nearsighted? And one of them says, I'll begin a study. Spawn here may feel more daunting than ever before, but I'm happy to be able to say that I just read a comic in a blank white void about a blank white void, and I liked it. Signed, Captain Logan.